Michelle Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs and he likes men. Chinning.
And my goodness, you want to talk about the most overrated political hype of a generation? It would go to Michelle Obama. Anyway, that's just a side note that's been on my mind for a while.
I'm happy to make fun of her look. It's very strange. It was Benny Johnson who dubbed that one hairstyle of the Stegosaurus.
I'm not getting into that.
She like 3 bumps on the back, Stegosaurus. It's very strange.
Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
Michelle Obama probably thought her Netflix deal meant smooth sailing, with wholesome vibes and inspirational buzz. But out of nowhere, Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly crashed the party like detectives on a mission to expose the unspoken. Gutfeld's snark hit harder than Michelle's workout reps, and Megyn's hunting receipts like a pro on a White House raid. Suddenly, the spotlight's burning hot on the First Lady of Cool, and her PR team is scrambling like never before. What scandalous bombshell did they unearth that's got everyone flipping out? Spoiler alert, it's far messier than any detox trend.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us. We have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Michelle Obama strides into the political spotlight like she's owning the runway at Fashion Week, arms waving with those signature inspirational flourishes, eyes locked in legendary mode. The media showers her with applause like she single-handedly solved inflation, rewrote the Constitution, and baked gluten-free brownies all before lunch. Somehow every breath Michelle takes is supposed to lift America's spirits. No pressure, right? Just your average ex-first lady turned unofficial queen of moral high ground, now getting gently torched by Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld like a marshmallow desperately trying to pass as a blazing torch.
So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and
face it, Michelle Obama's political presence is like tofu at a backyard barbecue, totally out of place, but somehow it insists on showing up marinated in moral sermons, acting like the main attraction. She spent nearly a decade reinventing herself as America's unofficial shrink, handing out bite-sized hope and belief like she's running a self-help stand in a dying mall. No matter the crowd, she always manages to serve a heavy dose of do better with a side of guilt, as if America needs a lecture with its morning coffee. The question is, how long can this self-help saga keep playing before people start asking for a refund?
Republican women are too dumb to make up their own minds about President Trump. They did it because they're men. Told them to after that ridiculous, remember that ad the Democrats ran with Julia Roberts voiceover? Where the women
I remember.
like
It's our little secret.
Yeah, this is what they think of. This is what they think of Republican women.
Just when you think Michelle Obama might finally slow down, here comes Megyn Kelly, done with all the smoke and mirrors and Michelle's non-stop not running for office circus. Because honestly, if endless media appearances, a Netflix deal, and a memoir titled The Light We Carry don't scream campaign prep, what does? Throw in an entourage that could stage a small coup and you've got a political spectacle in full swing. Michelle plays the humble patriot retreating to her Martha's Vineyard estate, softly preaching unity while quietly stacking brand deals like a Kardashian cashing in on every TikTok trend. The question is, how long can this act last before the curtain finally drops?
Michelle Obama, listen to this.
At this phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, you know, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine. I now don't have the excuse of, well, my kids need this or my husband needs that or the country needs that. So how do I think about this next phase?
Once again, speaking a reference to her time as First Lady negatively, and I'm transitioning. I mean, an interesting choice of words, given how the internet refers to her.
Greg Gutfeld, forever the snarky gremlin in a land full of political Tinkerbells, couldn't resist calling out the ridiculousness of Michelle's untouchable pedestal. Because let's be real, Michelle Obama is treated like she levitates. She could spill coffee on a puppy and MSNBC would crown it heroic. But the second anyone dares to challenge her multi-million-dollar motivational tour, suddenly it's blasphemy. It's like disrespecting Beyonce during a solar eclipse. Something so taboo, the universe itself seems ready to strike back. This untouchable aura isn't just hype, it's a political force field that defies all criticism, shielding Michelle from even the tiniest hint of dissent. In a world craving transparency, this kind of untouchability only fuels the fire of skepticism and whispers of what's really going on behind the scenes.
Michelle, it's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about. First of all, she loves to tell us she hated Barack for a good decade.
Yes.
Okay, please teach me how to have a successful relationship with someone that you clearly respect and admire. Every time she's on the air, it's like, I'm dragging this ball of dead weight behind me. His name, Barack Obama.
Megyn Kelly didn't bother dressing up her words and compliments or showing up with a glossy Oprah Book Club sticker. No, she came armed with receipts, sharp commentary, and a mental taser aimed straight at the hype surrounding Michelle's "I'm not running, but here's why your vote matters" tour. This kind of hypocrisy could power Chicago's entire electrical grid if hooked up to a turbine. Michelle insists she's not after the office. And sure, technically that's true. She doesn't want the job. She just wants every perk, the admiration, the media spotlight, the near deification, all without having to debate a single opponent or answer to anyone. This isn't public service, it's influencer energy with national security clearance. She's basically political Barbie, complete with a built-in PR team. But this isn't just harmless attention seeking. Michelle has morphed into the emotional battering ram defending her husband's legacy. When Barack Obama slips up, no worries. Michelle's ready with a heartfelt speech about resilience and how the world just doesn't get how tough it is to be adored by billions, all while sipping sangria with Oprah on some exotic beach. She's like the political version of Clippy, the old Microsoft assistant popping up with, "It looks like you're being held accountable. Would you like some poetic deflection?"
They blame gender for her surrender. This week, Michelle Obama scolded female Trump supporters in front of an audience at a business conference in Boston, a city in Massachusetts. She said the former First Lady, quote, "Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice. What does it mean for us as women that we look at those two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me." Well, to me, that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. I don't get this. No one likes their own voice. Have you ever listened to your own voicemail? It is horrifying.
Greg Gutfeld, the undisputed master of sarcasm and the patron saint of eye rolls, didn't hold back in exposing the entire Michelle Obama spectacle. He compares her to that coworker who loudly claims to hate office drama, but somehow ends up organizing a team-building exercise that spirals into tears and lawsuits. Michelle says she's not into politics, yet she magically pops up every election season like a motivational jack-in-the-box, while the media rolls out the red carpet as if she personally ended fascism with a TED Talk. Don't forget that Netflix documentary where Michelle strode through stadiums like a modern prophet descending from the heavens, but with better lighting, flawless makeup, and a full glam squad behind her. She wasn't just selling books, she was preaching a sermon on how misunderstood she is, basking in a spotlight brighter than Ecuador's entire GDP. Then there's her carefully curated disdain for politics. Too messy, too mean, all coming from a woman whose husband ran the drone strike era and deported more people than a malfunctioning carnival ride gone rogue. Meanwhile, Michelle insists she's here for hope, light, and meaningful conversations, ideally sponsored by Amazon Prime and moderated by Ellen DeGeneres. DeGeneres. Even her fashion choices get dragged into the narrative. One yellow dress, and Vogue churns out a 4,000-word think piece on sunflowers, optimism, and racial harmony. She wears boots. Suddenly, those boots are speaking truth to power. Gutfeld even joked that if Michelle showed up in a hazmat suit, the New York Times would rave about how Michelle Obama destroys pathogens with elegance, proving the media's obsession is on another level. This whole spectacle isn't just political theater. It's a perfectly choreographed performance designed to keep Michelle untouchable and endlessly adored.
Bringing me down. I'm trying to elevate myself with like these things on my head.
It looks like Mickey Mouse.
It's so
like
weird.
The two ears up there, these two big balls on the left and the right of her head.
Like, what kind of midlife crisis is she in the throes of right now?
No,
she's constantly.
You see the other one where she had the three balls on the back of her head, and I think it was Benny Johnson was calling it her Stegosaurus cut. That's what it looks like the back of a Stegosaurus.
Megyn Kelly wasn't about to fall for the polished PR gloss. She zeroed in on the uncomfortable truth beneath the carefully curated image. Michelle Obama adores the perks of political power, but runs scared from any real criticism. She craves influence, but wants zero accountability, expertly pulling off the political equivalent of having her cake, eating it, and then blaming you for noticing the crumbs. And let's not forget Michelle's recent performance recasting herself as a weary, burdened saint, telling millions how hard it is to be called angry, while casually throwing shade at half the country in those soft, whispery monologues that could double as lullabies. It's a textbook case of passive-aggressive righteousness wrapped in a velvet glove. This is the very same Michelle who once dismissed flyover states as irrelevant, only to pivot and launch voter campaigns targeting those exact places with all the enthusiasm of someone struggling to explain TikTok to their grandparents. Come election season, suddenly she's for the people, but between those cycles, she's more likely to be found lounging on a yacht, whispering sweet nothings to a potted plant about democracy and hope. Greg Gutfeld joked she might be the only person who can stroll into a fundraiser, criticize capitalism, and still walk away with a $300,000 check and a sparkling ethical diamond on her finger. Megyn Kelly agreed, noting how Michelle's brand has morphed into a full-blown lifestyle empire. There's probably a Michelle Obama scented candle somewhere out there, smelling faintly of vague moral superiority and just a hint of political theater.
And, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah. It's
a woman, probably, also.
It's a gay man.
My husband, but I love my husband, but when she's not doing that, so her brother is her podcast co-host, she's constantly berating him. Every episode, you didn't tell me you were having marital problems. He has to explain to her a million freaking times, hey, I was trying to work out my marriage, and if it did work out and I told you what the problems were, you would hold a grudge against my wife for the rest of your days.
Which is real. We all know
We all know. Nobody holds a grudge like Michelle Obama.
It's amazing. Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative.
Reality is, Michelle Obama has entered the political Hunger Games with what feels like a cheat code. She gets to say all the political things without ever facing a tough follow-up question. She tears up about the hardships of being rich, admired, and married to a two-term president, while millions nod along like she's some kind of political Joan of Arc, instead of what she really is, a carefully crafted media spectacle wrapped up in nostalgia playlists and sponsored by Spotify. Sure, some will argue that criticizing Michelle is off limits, or punching down, as if the woman with a private chef, her own podcast, and a Netflix empire is somehow the victim in all this. Meanwhile, anyone who points out her contradictions gets labeled an extremist, probably someone who kicks puppies and snacks on non-organic cheese. Let's take a moment to break down the Michelle Obama motivational cycle. Step 1, declare you're tired of politics. Step 2, drop an inspirational memoir. Step 3, appear on every media outlet short of Animal Planet. Step 4, casually hint the other side is threatening democracy, usually involving metaphors about children, light, and kitchen tables. Step 5, cash a 7-figure paycheck while asking followers to donate $10 to save the republic. Greg Gutfeld saw right through this routine like it was skywriting overhead. He laughed at the absurdity of a woman who claims exhaustion from public attention, yet simultaneously launches her third national tour, complete with pyrotechnics and opening acts. Michelle's humility has more marketing muscle than a Marvel blockbuster. Megyn Kelly had an absolute field day, exposing Michelle's "I'm just like you" routine as about as believable as a real housewife swearing she shops exclusively at Target. The chasm between Michelle's polished public persona and the reality behind the scenes is so wide you'd need Elon Musk's entire rocket fleet just to cross it. There she is, perched on a sun-drenched balcony in Tuscany, telling Americans to believe in yourselves, all while enveloped in layers of luxury, designer labels, private chefs, and a lifestyle more yacht club than Main Street hustle. And somehow, despite this obvious disconnect, she expects to be seen as relatable, as if sipping artisanal espresso while your personal assistant arranges your day qualifies as an everyman's struggle. The fantasy of Michelle running for president, that's the Democratic Party's fever dream. A candidate drenched in Obama branding, completely shielded from debate experience, and practically immune to media scrutiny. It's like trying to elect a hologram, flawless in selfies, but completely incapable of fielding a tough question or standing up to real scrutiny. But hey, if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson can toss his hat into the political ring, why not St. Michelle of the Gourmet Garden? Greg Gutfeld took a swipe, sarcastically noting Michelle's version of bipartisanship involves hugging a puppy in front of a burning flag and then blaming the flames on misinformation, all while flashing a smile that screams, "I'm the peacemaker here." She pushes unity with the grace of someone offering a warm embrace, and then skillfully lifting your wallet mid-hug before you even realize it's gone. The brilliance of Michelle's persona is how she's weaponized this above-it-all stance, gliding effortlessly over controversies like a high-tech drone quietly filming the chaos below, all while softly playing a piano soundtrack tailor-made for the cameras and the perfect Instagram moment. This carefully choreographed attachment keeps her untouchable, cocooned in a bubble of nostalgia, moral lectures, and flawless lighting that transforms every public appearance into a polished production. She's less a politician and more a brand, an icon curated for maximum emotional impact with minimum accountability, wrapped in a cozy package of hope, light, and just enough edge to keep the narrative alive and the money flowing. Behind the scenes, this well-oiled machine churns out viral sound bites, curated social media moments, and a relentless stream of feel-good messaging designed to distract, deflect, and maintain the illusion of authenticity. And the real kicker? This whole spectacle keeps the media mesmerized, the fans loyal, and the critics dismissed as bitter dissenters. Michelle Obama isn't just playing the game, she's rewriting the rules, turning public life into a high-stakes brand strategy that few can match and fewer still dare challenge. It's a slick move, one Megyn Kelly wasn't about to let slide, because you simply can't claim to be above politics while constantly throwing passive-aggressive jabs at your ideological rivals, all wrapped up in poetic despair. That's not rising above the fray, that's playing the political game in a velvet glove, slyly elbowing opponents with a disarming smile and calling it grace. It's the classic bait and switch, preaching unity while quietly stoking division, dressing up political digs as heartfelt anecdotes, and masking sharp critiques as poetic melancholy. The kind of move that makes you wonder if the real game isn't politics, but performance art, where every sigh and subtle dig is carefully choreographed to keep you guessing and keep the spotlight shining. Megyn Kelly saw right through the act, exposing the glaring contradiction of claiming moral high ground while expertly wielding low blows, making it crystal clear that this isn't some noble rise above politics. It's politics dressed in its Sunday best, a masterclass in political theater designed to confuse, distract, and disarm. Behind the carefully crafted smile and the soft-spoken melancholy lies a strategist who knows exactly how to keep the cameras rolling, the headlines coming, and the public debating what feels like sincerity but is really just a calculated dance. It's less about genuine unity and more about controlling the narrative, a reminder that sometimes the loudest cries for peace come from the ones most skilled at stirring the pot. Megyn's sharp critique punctured the illusion, reminding us that in this game, no one really rises above the politics. They just learn how to play it better. So what exactly did Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly expose? Michelle Obama is nothing less than a master illusionist, the political world's top magician, pulling inspiration out of a hat while your civil liberties quietly vanish behind the curtain. Every tearful interview, every perfectly choreographed speech, every high-profile book tour, framed as a healing session, is just another act in the same well-rehearsed con. You think you're watching a leader, but really, you're watching a brand activation on a national scale. Michelle Michelle has taken the commercialization of politics to such absurd extremes. It's only a matter of time before she launches her own line of resilience water, complete with electrolytes and a QR code for voter registration, because nothing says healing the nation like staying perfectly detached from actual politics. Greg and Megyn didn't destroy Michelle with some earth-shattering revelation. They simply peeled back the curtain to reveal what everyone already suspected. The Empress of Inspiration isn't just wearing designer robes. Those robes are dry cleaned in political detergent. Just when you think she might finally pause her nationwide crusade for enlightenment, she reappears. This time on a podcast wrapped in emotional vulnerability and dishing out vague advice like, we just need to meet people where they are, as if that helps the millions drowning in debt and juggling multiple jobs. While Michelle lounges in a Nantucket reading nook, reflecting on the unbearable burden of being universally adored. Because obviously, when you think of victims in this messed up world, Michelle Obama is top of the list. She's a one-woman pity party, a destitution derby of self-pity, always bashing Barack Obama or America, never offering a single positive word. The sharpest part of Gutfeld and Kelly's roast? They didn't have to resort to cheap shots or exaggerations. Michelle Obama's contradictions are the punchline all on their own. She's America's most beloved non-candidate, campaigning harder than actual candidates, preaching do better while living the luxury lifestyle. And every time someone dares to call out the hypocrisy, the Obama PR machine blasts out a foghorn of accusations. Racism this, systemic oppression that, drowning out any logical critique with emotional buzzwords and candlelight montages. The real joke isn't that Michelle Obama is powerful, it's that she acts like she isn't, while wielding more influence than half of Congress combined. That's not empowerment, that's illusion. And thanks to Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld, that illusion is finally starting to crack. So next time Michelle tells you she's just here to help, remember, help these days comes with a matching media campaign, a best-selling book, and probably a Target collab. Because in 2025, public service means never having to say you're running while running every damn thing anyway. If you want more no-nonsense takes and deep dives into the hottest celebrity and political drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Jacob Report Sark family. Don't miss out. Turn on notifications so you're the first to catch every truth bomb we drop. Stay woke, stay curious, and keep it real with Jacob Reports. See you in the next one.